Lately, I've been incorporating a lot of my old videos into the new Back of the Box series to just talk about my past feelings, my Let's Play experiences, and all the different games that I played. But last week was by far one of the coolest things I've done on the channel so far, and that's talk to the creator of a very small game most of you have probably seen and known as The Static Speaks My Name. One of the very first games I played when I discovered the world that is the free indie game scene, from Warped Door to Game Jolt to itch.io and tons more. I was blown away at all the small projects made by hopeful devs across the world, and definitely gave me the push into wanting to make YouTube videos at all. Tons of free and cheap games to play and download at any time, with quality usually in the back seat, but every once in a while finding a true gem. And while there are a ton of great hits that emerge from these websites such as Frambo, Emily is Way, and so many other Unity games that scratch the feelers on us, Static Speaks My Name has always remained as the ultimate in its category for me, and I think for a lot of people in general when it comes to the games we've all watched, Mark, Jack, and all the rest of the Let's Play realm that delves into the awesome void of key finding simulators, FNAF ripoffs with tons of heart, and just a ton of really interesting or stupidly entertaining games for anybody to play and for anybody to publish their work. Static really pulled off a gritty and wrong-feeling environment, feeding you shrimp and interesting book titles, all while introducing you to a subtle story of obsession, depression, and a mind turned wrong. On a first playthrough, it really seems to have an impact with people, or at least for me. But I don't just want to talk about how good Static is, because it is free, and if you haven't played it, I'll leave a link in the description. But I just wanted to say that it was truly a cool experience to actually get a hold of Jesse Barksdale, a unique mind that seems to have a lot going on for him in his creepy universe of unsettling situations and vibes. But being a game I played 5 years ago, when I was still in high school, it definitely felt weird to talk to the creator himself. But as you'll see, Jesse's a pretty mellow guy, and I'm grateful he even replied to me, let alone give me a chance to get my shit together. After the interview, go check out his catalog of uncomfortable yet amazingly thick and atmospheric content with Static Speaks My Name, Jump to Win, Bucket Detective, and his and friends' new show BOTB, along with his YouTube channel where you can find him just doing whatever, showing off his creations, and just generally having a good time. I try my best to ask interesting questions. After all, it was my first time doing anything like this, and I was pretty stoked that he even replied. So once again, thank you, Jesse, and I hope everybody enjoys what he has to say, and sorry for losing track here and there. Hello?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you all right.
Okay, cool. I'm a super small YouTuber, so I'm going to try my best here.
That's all right, man. I'm a super small game developer, so
no.
I don't get interviewed that much, so
yeah. No, it's sweet. I mean, I played your game in, like, I think junior year. That was probably like 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe less than that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just so cool, and I've played, like, I have 500 some videos on my channel with just tons of Game Jolt horror games, and Static was definitely one that seemed to stick around with everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad, man. I'm glad. So, what kind of is your channel like mostly Let's Plays, or do you do reviews, or like what's the?
Yeah, it was mostly Let's Plays, and then I stopped doing it for like a year and stuff, and then I'm just coming back now, and I'm just kind of doing game review type stuff.
Yeah, trying to get the channel reignited.
Yeah, I kind of cringed myself out with the Let's Plays and whatnot, so. Yeah.
I mean, you know, man, it's I feel like it takes a little while to figure it out. I actually just like 6 months ago, I started a YouTube channel, like my own. I mean, I had a YouTube channel, but I never put anything on it.
Yeah.
But I started, like, you know, my first video was me talking about making the Static Speaks My Name and stuff. And I mean, dude, I felt so awkward. I had no idea. You know, I was like, the camera was way below me, and I was just like stuttering, and I don't know. So
that's kind of the fun thing about it, though, is going back and watching yourself stuttering, and then go all the way to the front of the channel and
yeah,
how much
man,
you've changed,
I
like,
know,
get your voice and stuff. It's kind of fun.
Totally. I mean, yeah, I look back on the first video and I was like,
yeah.
Okay, hey guys, I don't know if this is going to be interesting. I was like, basically, like, half the video was me apologizing for making the video. Just like, I don't think anyone's going to watch this. And
yeah, I think I did mine on like a 3D Pokemon game or something, and like, what's up, gamers? And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the classic.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, like,
yeah.
Cool, man. So what do you want to? How do you want to do this whole thing, this interview with me?
I'm not really sure. I got a bunch of questions right now, but I figured I'd just ask a few things. We just talk or whatever, and just kind of see how it goes.
Give me some good warm up questions so I can get my nerves out too. You know?
Yeah. When you first released your game and then it kind of exploded, I mean, how was your reaction when you seen like Markiplier and PewDiePie and pretty much everybody with a Let's Play channel playing your game and like freaking out to it, and yeah.
Um, it was. I would say it was disbelief, because it was basically the first game that I'd ever released,
Mm-hmm.
and just the idea that people would play my game.
Yeah.
I mean, my goal originally was to get 100 people to play the game,
Mm-hmm.
and so when someone wrote about the game on a website, I was like, okay, well, this is crazy that anyone would even like review it because I just wanted normal people to play it.
Yeah.
But then people started playing it on YouTube, and like more and more, it started just kind of picking up steam. And yeah, I mean, I would say just disbelief because at that time I had never released a game. I'd been doing like the art thing for a while. Like I'd gone to film school and
Oh
had
yeah.
made some short films and stuff, but that was the first thing that I'd really
Yeah.
kind of like put out to the world.
Yeah. I can only
Surprising
imagine, man. I'll get like 30 views on a video and freak out to myself, and
Yeah, I mean, it was so crazy because it just kind of like you said. I mean, that game seemed to sort of stick with people,
yeah,
and it was that way where I would basically I would get some very small website would write about it, and I'd be like, that's cool. And
yeah.
then some YouTuber would play it and it'd get like 5,000 views. And I was like, damn, 5,000 people saw my game.
I
And it
know.
just kept going up and up and up to where it was, yeah, Markiplier or Jacksepticeye. I think Jacksepticeye was the first huge one that was like, 6
Yeah,
7 million views. And I
I
was just
couldn't
like,
even imagine. I'd be freaking out.
dude, I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't even seem real.
Yeah.
And then the game, probably the biggest one was actually the game got featured on the front page of Kotaku,
Mm-hmm.
and the game was free, but you could give donations.
Hmm.
And so I was getting emails. I was actually at work getting emails. Like I saw that the game was on Kotaku, and then I was getting emails saying people were donating. And I had done the math in my head, thinking, okay, like I was seeing like $2 donation, $5 donation, some were like $10 donation,
Yeah, dude,
and
that's awesome.
I was counting up the numbers, and I was like, oh, I think I made like $60 today, which
Hell
was like
yeah.
crazy. But then I went home and I realized that the emails were nested, and I had
Oh,
actually
okay.
made $800 that day, and I was
Oh
like,
my
what
god.
the fuck?
Yeah, no,
So
that's cool, dude. Your game really is. I mean, it's something like this brings me kind of my second question. I remember like first seeing it, I watched I think Markiplier play like 2 seconds of it, and then I was like, oh, I want to play this for myself on my channel or whatever. And
yeah,
when I actually opened it, I don't know, like the atmosphere in it. First playing, it's just like such a dark feeling game, almost like it almost
yeah,
feels grimy. But I was just
yeah,
wondering
yeah,
like how much of that atmosphere and stuff was just like beginner's luck, or was it all intentional? Were the paintings like I don't know, what's the meaning behind the painting?
yeah. I mean, it's hard to, it's whether it was beginner's luck. Very good question. I don't know if I know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But I do think that the game was definitely intentional. Like
Mm-hmm.
I come from a film background. I went to
Yeah.
film school. I'm a huge fan of movies and storytelling. So
Okay.
I think I do what contributed a lot to the game
Yeah.
was that like in film we don't think about gameplay at all, obviously, because it's not
Yeah.
interactive. But what we do think about a lot is mood and tone and aesthetics. So I kind of brought that to the Static Speaks My Name. So I was really, really like I put a lot of effort into lighting the game, into the background music, into the sound effects and all that stuff, just because I definitely spent like a long time tweaking the tone because
Yeah. You
I
can
wanted it to feel a certain way.
definitely tell walking through the house and stuff, like I said, the first time playing it and the music going on, like you sit down at the computer and this chat starts going on and it's just like what the fuck is happening. But
Awesome. Awesome.
so
Yeah.
yeah, you came from a film background.
hmm
Did you go to college and stuff for that? And like what are some inspirations of yours film wise?
Yes, I did. I went to film school, but I will say I was one of the lucky people that my state, like the college right near my house was but I can hear myself feeding back in your headphones or something,
Oh,
by
you
the
can.
way.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
Blue
yeah.
Yeti mic, so let me see if I can turn this down real
No,
quick.
no worries. I could hear myself looping, so I was like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna distract myself.
Here, can you still
Um,
hear yourself?
test, test. No, no, that's way better. Thanks.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I was lucky enough that the film school that I went to was like 3 hours from my hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and so I went to school in Florida, and because Florida has this sort of like, if you get good grades in high school, you get to go tuition free to college. So most people, my point is, most people spend a shitload of money going to
Oh, okay.
type
Sorry, you
in
cut out
grade.
there for a sec.
Oh, and I said a lot of people spend a bunch of money going to
Yeah.
film school, but I was lucky enough I got to go for free.
Yeah, that's
So
really cool.
yeah, I don't know if I can recommend film school if you have to pay a bunch of money, but it was worth
Yeah.
it since it was, instead of
Yeah.
having to go study physics and get a degree, I
For
studied
sure,
film.
dude. I could only imagine too, though, just the experience alone. Because myself, like lately with the reviews, I like to do more scripted stuff, just because it's
Hmm.
so much easier to write things down than just remember it off the top of your head. But
Right.
yeah, I forget what I was going with that.
I think you also asked me if I had film inspirations in
Yeah,
film.
like anything that crossed over to any of your games or your art styles or anything like that.
Man, I feel like so much. I feel like it's like, I mean, I really really love film, and I've been a high volume consumer of film for like 25 years or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
So it's hard to say, but I mean just everything. Obviously there's a lot of kind of like, creepy horror things, and I mean I
mm-hmm.
love David Lynch, I love David Cronenberg.
Okay.
I'm a fan of M. Night Shyamalan. His career's
Yeah,
gone in
yeah, I
strange
like him too.
directions, but yeah, when I was in high school was when his sort of classics were coming out, Sixth Sense and Unbreakable and all that.
Yeah.
So those had a big impact on me.
All right, cool. And then going back to what you said earlier about kind of going to film school and trying to translate that into the game into more atmosphere and like kind of telling something rather than gameplay. Do you play a lot of like Game Jolt and itch.io games and stuff? Because that's one reason why I always end up there, because you'll go through 100 super shitty horror games and then usually you'll find one really good one, and
Yeah.
maybe you're just walking or something, but it's just presents itself like a really cool story and stuff.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I haven't much lately, but
Yeah.
when I was making Static Speaks My Name and before, when I was like teaching myself how to make games, I was
Hmm.
playing a ton of that stuff, a ton of Game Jolt stuff, a ton of stuff that's not even on Game Jolt, stuff that's just on people's websites.
Yeah.
Or I've always been a big fan of experimental.
Hmm.
The game doesn't have to be good if it's at least trying something interesting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
enough to hook me.
Yeah, same. And do you know anybody, like, do you have any buddies that are maybe also on GameJolt or itch.io that I could possibly check out their work or something? Or
Yeah, well, so the guy who did music for the Static Speaks My Name and my other game, Bucket Detective,
okay,
his name's Sean Claude Jones, and he's a musician, but he's also a game developer.
cool.
And I'm forgetting the name of his game off the top of my head because it's like a very like long literary
Yeah.
title. It's like Great Yawn. I can get it for you afterwards, but yeah, I mean
Yeah.
he's awesome. He's
Okay,
like
cool.
we met each other just on a game development forum like
Yeah.
way like 5 years ago, and
Hmm.
yeah, he makes really cool stuff. He's done music for some other indie games too. I don't know if you ever played this. I'm pretty sure he did the music for this one. I'm now like not remembering exactly, but I think it's called The Final Cut. It's like based on if you know the film Shannon Deleu, the Salvador Dali, Lou Buñuel film where the woman gets her eye cut with the razor blade.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
There's a
Yeah, that's
game
cool.
there's a game that's kind of based on that, and I think he did music for that. So he's done some cool weird
Oh, you know
projects.
what, dude? I actually think that might have been one of the first games I played on my Let's Play channel. Has it been around for a while?
It's been around for a while.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally played that. I remember seeing the
Yeah.
eyeball getting sliced open, and yeah,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
a weird
Yep.
place game, Joel. There's some pretty, I don't know, some games just do a really good job at nailing like a super upsetting atmosphere.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
and especially Bucket Detective, man. I didn't look you up after a while because I quit YouTube for a little while, and then I
Okay.
found out that you made that or whatever, and I finally played that, and like getting towards the end, and spoiler, I guess, the baby and the cult stuff, that was pretty shocking.
Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
awesome. I'm glad.
And do you go for shock value or?
Um, I probably was to some degree with that. I mean, I think I don't always go for
Yeah,
shock value,
yeah.
but I definitely was just that game was as I was making it, the game started to feel like it was about someone being
Oh, whoops.
a book.
Yeah,
Dream. To me, that's sort of what the game's. I mean, that's not even a metaphor. It's literally what it's about.
yeah,
Even though he has this stupid dream. So I figured, okay, let's go really far with this and like really challenge people, see what they do.
yeah. No, for sure. It was definitely interesting cutting the limbs off
Awesome.
and all that, and I really like
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
added the commentary and stuff too. That was pretty cool.
You know what's so crazy? That is like so many people are that I get so many comments about that commentary, and
Yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, again, growing up as a big, I don't know how much into movies you are, or even how old you
Mm-hmm.
are exactly, because like back, when the director's commentaries used to be a huge thing on DVDs,
Yeah.
and so where you could basically watch the movie and then hear the director talk about it. And so I like literally learned how to like make stuff, make movies especially, but just what the
Mm-hmm.
creative process was, listening to directors talk about how they made stuff.
Yeah.
So when I made the game, I was like, what, games don't really do that developer commentary thing. So I was like, I should do that because I found those so useful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 24. I'm super into horror films and whatnot, but I can't say I can like name off directors off the top of my
yeah,
head.
yeah.
So definitely a lot of like the older horror movies like Evil Dead and just all those really great kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, man.
actual effect, super cheesy looking stuff.
Dude, totally.
Yeah.
Practical effects where it's not computer generated. They actually like
Yeah.
put a scary girl in like makeup and do all the blood
Mm-hmm.
effects on her and stuff. Yeah.
100 pounds of clay and
Exactly,
yeah, I don't know.
exactly.
Sometimes it looks a little silly, but honestly, I think
But you
that's
know
almost
what?
creepier.
Yeah, exactly. It can look silly, but your brain, I think the human brain can, no matter what, can basically tell when it's CG.
Yeah,
But when you can tell that something is made out of like plastic and
yeah.
clay,
I
and
mean,
it
it's still
feels like,
physical.
oh, yeah, like the original Star Wars, you're like,
Hmm.
okay, maybe they look kind of cheesy and they look more like puppets, but they feel real in a way
Yeah,
that the new Star
yeah.
Wars movies don't.
The Uncanny Valley. With, I don't know if you've ever watched like the
Exactly.
singing robot on YouTube, where it sings
I
like
don't
for
know what that
"Wonderful," I
is.
believe, but it's super creepy. I'll have to send it to you, but it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
incredibly terrifying. But yeah.
yeah.
But how long have you been doing game design and stuff? And like, did you go to school for that? And
I have been doing game design for, I guess, since about maybe 2015, something like that.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I did it in high school, but not in 2015 was when I kind of started being like, all right, I'm gonna like get for real about this and try and put out some stuff and see if I can, make
yeah,
something for real. But I did, I made little games in high school, and I even went to, I'm like one of those actual nerds that went to computer camp over the summer. Like I went to a computer camp in Seattle, Washington,
yeah,
during like high school or middle school or something. And
yeah.
so,
Well,
yeah.
it's totally worth it. I mean, looking back, I can only wish I would have took things a little more serious because there was some pretty cool classes with robotics and video production and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah,
Well, you still got time. You're only 25. I think I was 27 when I made the Static Speaks My Name.
oh
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So do you got a bunch of unreleased games that we can expect on your YouTube channel? I was watching the last one that you posted, which was actually pretty cool. Have you ever thought about going back and like touching that up?
You know, so I don't think I would go back and touch it up, but I've definitely a couple people have asked about releasing it. I could put out
Yeah,
the that like prototype version, but honestly, at this point, like I'm sort of focusing a little bit more right now on filmmaking and storytelling.
yeah, and the Bugs TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So I've been doing, I'll never say never because I think that
mm-hmm.
video games are like a super fascinating medium, and I
Yeah,
think that I think 10 years from now we're gonna like the games are gonna be something almost we can't predict what they're even gonna become, and I think movies and games are gonna merge, and I
oh
think
for
books
sure.
are gonna become a different thing, and like
Yeah,
so. yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't make more games, but right now I'm definitely kind of focusing on filmmaking and storytelling more.
And is Bug Detective the only thing you're working on right now? And how long have you been working on that?
Yeah, Bug's House.
Yeah, Bug's House. My bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good. You combined them, Bug Detective.
I'll be totally honest. I could only watch the first episode because I'm moving right now, and I tried to watch the rest yesterday, but for some reason, it was taking me to a Twitch channel or something.
Hello?
But it was offline, so I couldn't finish it. But
you cut out for a second. What did you say?
oh, I was saying I was trying to watch the rest of your the last 2 episodes or whatever yesterday, but I couldn't get on the website for some reason. It said that Twitch was online or offline or something.
Yeah, you know what? We had a the Bug's House, this whole Bug main thing. It's like a truly like multimedia project. As in like Bug main is really big on Twitter, and then we had we changed the website to forward to our Twitch channel, where Bug main did a sermon. So yeah, I'll send you a different link so you can watch it. But
cool. Yeah, I like that idea. So if you're kind of watching all aspects of the social media, will it all kind of paint a complete picture then?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's honestly, it's one of the coolest, craziest things that I've ever been involved with.
Pretty neat. I watched the first episode, and it kind of feels like something off Adult Swim, where when you first watch it, it feels kind of really awkward and uncomfortable, but the more you watch it, like, I don't know, it just got funnier to me. Like, I liked how they were wearing the Dunder shirts and whatnot. And
yeah, no, totally. I mean, it's and it's actually like, you know, it's not just me. It's I'm doing this is a project with a couple other people, so I can speak more arrogantly about the project. So it's not just complimenting me, but really, I think what we're trying to do here is something that basically no one's doing right now in the world of filmmaking and storytelling, which is like, it really is. I mean, we have our own streaming service. We're building our own streaming service, which is Bug TV. We have our show. We're gonna have a lot of other shows. I can't even talk about yet what we're actually gonna make. There's storytelling happening on Twitter. There's all these characters interacting with each other on Twitter, on Twitch. There's a live convention. Last year there's gonna be another one this summer, and like, you know, if coronavirus is not, you know, but it's a really cool, it actually feels to me not exactly like a video game, but it's like it's something that can only exist with the technology as it is right now.
Yeah, well, it's almost interactable. I mean, you got to kind of chase it and find all the pieces, and I think that's kind of what some people like now with Reddit and whatnot. People like chasing wormholes and finding some weird thing and being like, what the fuck, and then just going on a 3-hour Twitter stream or
totally, man. Yeah, and it's like, and I mean, there've been all these like things where, like, you know, Bugmain is this cult leader, and all the people who follow him on Twitter are like, you know, members of the cult, and so they'll do funny things. They'll invade Twitch, just random Twitch channels, and try and convert the host to be a new follower. And so there's these videos of just these people, the audience kind of taking it on themselves to go do like funny, crazy stuff. And also the audience, like the people who like, who are in the bug cult. I mean, they're as funny as any of the, you know, like they're so creative and interesting. And so it's just, it's not to shift the topic. I'm not meaning to shift the topic away from games, but it is a very cool, unique thing.
Yeah, I don't mean to only talk about games, but I'm trying to branch out.
It's your show, my man. Whatever you want to talk about.
It was crazy that you even replied. I was just like, man, I wonder if anybody would just say yeah, and then he did, and I was just like, holy shit. But
yeah, dude, why not? Why not?
Yeah,
it's fun.
I have one question here. Is it possible to win Jump to Win? Because I noticed I played it like 50 times over trying to reach the damn coin, and then I got the jump, and then I made it like halfway through the map, and I just stopped, and I noticed the hands never even come.
Yeah. Well, didn't you?
Sorry, cut out there for a sec.
At the end, it says you win. You beat it.
Oh, does it? I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I must just be...
You mean, is it possible to catch the coin?
Yeah, to catch the coin.
I can't say. I have to leave that to the speedrunners to figure out,
Okay.
see if they can
Yeah,
crack
I
it.
figured, man. I was
I'm
trying
sure
so
there's a
hard.
crazy way to beat it, but
After like Static and Bucket, all that, did you meet any more contacts or people that wanted to like work with you on game jams or anything like that?
um,
Or do you mostly
yeah.
stay
So
away
like,
from that stuff?
I'm I mean after Bucket Detective, I actually well I started working. I like kind of got a job doing like freelance game design.
Yeah.
So I started working with I was actually living in Finland at the time. Moved to Finland to go study game design there at another free university,
Oh
because in
man, that's
Finland
so
the
cool.
universities are free, which is
Yeah.
great. So I was working a guy that I went to school with there. He
Mm-hmm.
was the programmer, and I did the art and design. So we did a couple games. I did a couple freelance games, and then I actually got hired at a studio in Sweden. So I moved to Sweden and was working as a narrative designer and writer for this game, this first-person shooter, like big, big budget. I don't know how
Yeah.
many millions of
Was that
dollars, but a
The
big budget
Walking
shooter.
Dead by any chance or?
That was The Walking Dead. Yeah,
Okay. Sweet.
yeah. So I know some. I know some. I've definitely, like I have sort of casually. I guess you're asking about like other gamers online, other indie people.
Yeah.
I've got some casual relationships with different online people. But I'll be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I'm not great at like the online stuff. So
Yeah.
I never. I'm always a much better like making friends with people in real life. It's something
Yeah.
I better at probably because I feel like a lot of people meet people online, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I just don't express myself as well online as I do in real life. I
Yeah.
feel like.
So how do you go about like when you're writing Bug TV and stuff like that? Are you with a bunch of people just like sitting in a circle or
Yeah,
if
it
it's not a secret
depends.
anyway?
Yeah, no, I mean, it depends on the project.
Mm-hmm.
I have collaborated with people with writing, and I mean, yeah, it's hard. That's a tough question. It's a lot of. I'd say it's like you brainstorm some stuff, um, and then yeah, just write it down and try and make it good.
Yeah.
There's not writing is one of those things where it's like so basic. So,
Yeah.
I feel like with like something like programming is the opposite end of it. There's like all these like techniques and all there's just so
Yeah.
many ways you go. The kind of great thing and the terrifying thing about writing is it's so simple that anybody can do it, but it's
Yeah.
so hard to do it well. So
I
you
know.
just sit down with a piece of paper and it's like,
Yeah.
I guess you're talking about your writing stuff for your channels now, and you see it's like, oh God, I could say anything.
Oh,
It
for
could
sure,
be
man. It's sometimes
that's
it's even just a problem just starting it or thinking I have a format going and then I start another video and I start changing stuff up all again and it's
yep,
fun though.
yep. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I just I think writing it's very mental. It's very like
Yeah.
I try and I try and just do it, to
Mm-hmm.
not
Force
steal the
yourself to.
Nike slogan. But yeah, I just think that I think if you can be too precious about writing, but you can like always just write something and then never use it. And I think that
Yeah.
when people get stuck with like writer's block and stuff, like they want their thing to be really, really good the first time they write it. And I
Yeah.
understand that. Like you of course want it to be good, but something that is not on paper at all can never be good.
Yeah.
There's like a 0% chance it'll be good, but something that's on paper has at least a slight percent chance of being good. So you just gotta
Yeah.
like put some.
Oh, sorry,
Feel
you cut
free
out
to
for a
like
sec.
if you want to. No, no, no. Feel free if you want to like push me in that direction to talk about it. I'm just answering off the top of my head here. So
Oh, you're okay. I have
feel
just a
free
bunch
to
of pages of questions, and like a lot of them just kind of
yeah,
answer themselves when other ones are asked. So,
yeah, yeah. No worries.
where are you out from? Are you out in California or are you still
Yeah, yeah.
out of America?
Yes, I'm back in America. I lived outside of America for 3.5 years, and so
Yeah,
I'm very happy to be back. I'm in Los Angeles now, which
yeah,
is obviously there's a lot of film stuff here. So that
yeah,
was I happen to have a here because a lot of people I knew from film school, and I had lived out here before I moved to Finland. But yeah, I'm back in Los Angeles.
Oh, cool. How was
Yeah.
Finland? I think that's what you said, right? Was it very
Yeah, Finland
different?
and then Sweden. It is, it was very different. It's really cold. It's cold about 8 months out of the and I'm from Florida, so my body is not trained to be able to deal with
Yeah.
duration of cold, and it's very gray. It's like the amount of times that the sun comes out from behind the clouds is it's not very much, but it's great. I love the people there. Some of the nicest people that I've ever met. Like truly, they're just Finnish people are
Yeah.
just so kind and sweet and
Mm-hmm.
genuine and
Did
welcoming, and so
Did you have to
I
learn
had
the
a great
language
time
at all
there.
to go there? Or did you just kind of wing it?
I tried to learn the language. I went there with a lot of conviction that I was going to learn the language,
Yeah.
and the problem is they speak such good English
Oh,
that
that's sweet.
there's just
You lucked out.
no need. Yeah, I mean, I literally I made 3 or 4 times in my entire 2.5 years there met
Yeah.
someone who didn't speak English. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Like you would never meet someone who didn't speak English, and they want to practice, so they don't even want to speak Finnish with you
Yeah.
because
You
they
go in
were
there, they
all.
teach
It's
them a little bit.
exactly. They want to learn to speak American English.
Have you been getting a lot of good feedback with your YouTube channel lately? I've seen you've been posting a lot more and stuff, and that's kind of cool. Actually getting
Yeah,
an inside
yeah,
look.
yeah. I have. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
It was yeah. It's been good. Like people have seemed to have enjoyed it, especially the videos about Static Speaks My Name and Bucket Detective. People have
Yeah.
enjoyed those, and yeah, it's been cool. And so now I'm kind of just like trying to be like keep open to like
Mm-hmm.
what the channel like. It's like I don't know. I feel like I always will try and like decide ahead of time. This is what I'm gonna do, and I never follow
Yeah.
through with it. So I just am trying to be like, look, I'm gonna do a video about an old game today, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just did a video where I cut my fucking hair just because it was like that'd be funny.
Yeah. I
Like my
just
mom
seen
wanted me to do that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I just recorded another video about where I watched. If you have you seen the film Midsummer, or you know what it
Yep.
is?
Yep.
Okay, so I just did like a breakdown of the first 10 minutes of that where I watched the film and talk about it. So
Oh,
I'm just
cool.
trying to like, yeah, just be experimental with the channel, and I don't know what it's gonna be, but yeah, just
Yeah.
try it and see what's fun.
Yeah. Well, it
I
comes across
never
good,
really,
dude. You seem pretty genuine. I mean, you don't look like you're putting up a character or anything.
yeah, awesome. I'm glad. That was definitely something I was worried about. It's like, or I was just like, I don't want to be fake. Like that's
Yeah.
really against my like ethos as a human, as an and as an artist. Is just like I don't know. I get
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I a lot. Like I think he's really fun and funny and stuff. But like
Yeah.
he's like acting like he's having more
Yeah.
fun than
Yeah.
he is. It's
And
a
that was kind of.
performance. And
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, sorry. You cut out there. Would you?
Oh, I was just gonna say that was kind of why I dipped out of the Let's Play stuff too, because I'm not like a super what's up gamers type of person in the first place. So editing the video, it's just kind of hard. It's either forced or it's kind of quiet, and I don't know. It just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. I get it's. I understand, and I'm I don't have any illusions that I would be like.
Mm-hmm.
I won't pretend to know about what it's like to be a professional streamer, YouTuber,
Yeah.
but I know, I don't even, that's not something that I would want to do, but I just figured the channel would be kind of a cool, actually, the idea for the channel was like, there's these, like, imagine, and again, I'm not trying to be,
Yeah.
but like
No, you're all good.
basically like imagine you have like these filmmakers or whatever these artists throughout history. Like imagine if Van Gogh had a YouTube channel. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
the Beatles were posting on YouTube like little like their jam sessions or whatever. And again, I'm
Yeah.
not Van Gogh or the Beatles, but
Yeah.
like I do think it's like there's actually like, you know, I feel like maybe people think YouTube is like saturated or something. I don't know if people what people think, but like I feel like actually it's this whole thing is just the beginning. And like whether anything I ever do makes any kind of impact or people like it or whatever, it's going to be cool for me in 20 or 30 years to look back and have a little document of my process, you know, where it's like, oh, that was the week that I released Bug's House. This is the week, you know, I did this. So
can't be super
my
old
point was
and
exactly
go back to look at all my videos that I've made and read everything in my Google Docs and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've gone through all these, it's like, wow, that's, you know, I've found forum posts of mine from when I was 14 years old, and it's cool to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little archive of what you're doing with your time and stuff too. Yeah. And have your family played any of your games or anything like that? Or
1 second, I'm just walking to fill up my cup with more water.
Oh, yeah, good.
I don't. Are you actually?
Sorry, cut out for a sec.
I said, are you going to use the audio for this, or are you going to like just take my answers?
I'll just use the audio for this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, plugging back in. Yeah, my family has played my game. I mean, so I guess actually, my family has watched videos of other people playing my games because my mom can barely open up YouTube. That like getting her to open up a video is like takes like 5 minutes of me instructing her on the phone. There's no way she could actually play a video.
Yeah, what did she think? Was she blown away, or did she know that side of you, or?
Yeah, she did. She thought it was really cool. Yeah, I think she thought it was really interesting, and she liked that other people liked it. She definitely was someone who advised to sell the Static Speaks My Name for like $1.
Yeah,
which
honestly,
I did.
I would too, but
Holds over me.
Yeah,
I know, man. Well, that's probably I'm not known for being great at like knowing how to make money. So I think that it probably would have been the right move to charge 99 cents because you know it.
Yeah, dude. Compared to some of the things on Game Jolt or itch.io is usually pretty good on quality, but Game Jolt can be something else when it comes to horror games.
Yeah, and it's just like that's hindsight is 2020 though, because it was my first real game that I ever put out, so I could not fathom a world where people would want to play it. You know, it was like that the demand would be enough that people would pay for it, I should say.
Yeah, for sure. No, it definitely got you word of mouth, and who knows, maybe that was the gatekeeper between Jacksepticeye being like, I'll try this, and
yeah, exactly. You never know, and it did get me a job at a game studio and all this stuff. So it's like, in some ways, it paid, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
One day I'll figure out how to make money off of things I make.
What was it?
I believe that.
What was it like working for The Walking Dead? Was that pretty interesting, or was it a lot more stressful?
Yeah.
Or?
No, it was really fun. It was a great time. I liked the people that I worked with, and it was really interesting to get a peek behind the scenes of like a AAA company. Yeah. And it kind of it had been since I was in high school, it had been a dream of mine to work at a AAA studio. And so I really got to check that off the box, and it was super fun because actually my indie background, being very DIY, ended up being a very big asset. We'd have meetings with like all the different departments. There'd be like 10 people in a meeting, and it would, I don't know, I had this background of like, Static Speaks My Name. I did literally everything except for the I programmed it, did the art, did the design, did the writing, did the animations, everything. So I just felt like I I had a history of just like, if I need to do something, I just pick up a microphone and record it and then try it. And I'd write a script and make, I'd program something. So that ended up being really helpful at a AAA company.
Yeah.
People would have debates about like, oh, should we try this or should we try that? And I'd be like, guys, I can make that in 3 hours. Give me 3 hours and I'll actually just make it, and then we can look at it and see if it's good. We don't have to keep talking about it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Have you played The Walking Dead?
I've played it so many times.
Yeah. Is it good? I haven't played it yet.
It's there. I'm so close to it that I don't even know if I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I could actually give it a fair assessment. I think it's good, not great. I think it's good, but needed more time to differentiate itself. It's like good, but so many games now that I don't think it stood out enough. I don't think the Walking Dead IP was enough to make it like a thing that people would want to play. People would just rather play more Destiny.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like not a bad game.
No, I've definitely looked at it. It looks pretty fun.
Yeah, and those cutscenes are fucking tight because I worked on them.
Because that's like my bread and butter when it comes to playing games. Honestly, dude, is story cutscenes.
Yeah, well, I wrote like I contributed writing to all of them. This wasn't my official title, but I was basically the cinematics director for the in-game. So we had these pre-rendered, very expensive CG cutscenes that were done by like an external studio called Goodbye Kansas. But then I was in charge of the in-game cut. I mean, not just me, but we had animators and editors and stuff. But I was kind of in charge of those.
Yeah. So what you were doing there, was that pretty different than working by yourself and making things like Static and Bucket and things like that? Directing.
What it was it was a lot more like filmmaking. It was a lot more like filmmaking.
Were you more happy with
filmmaking?
That,
yeah, that was one of the things that made me realize I needed to go back to film, because I left film because film, unlike games, it just, even to do a little tiny thing, you have to get together. You saw the first episode of Bug's House. We had 7 actors in that, and me and a friend shooting camera, and then we had a sound guy. And it's like, even a small production, a cheap production, requires kind of a lot of effort. But with a game, you can do it. But once I started doing these cutscenes, so basically I left film because I was like, I had some projects I was trying to raise money for, and I couldn't raise money to make them. And I was just like, man, I don't know if I'm ever gonna make these films I want to make. But indie games, I could sit in a room all by myself and make something and put it out. And I was like 26 years old, and I hadn't put anything out. I'd written all these scripts, but I had nothing I could show people. So I started making games. But anyway, my point was, once I was working on The Walking Dead, doing a lot of work on these cutscenes, I started to remember how much I loved filmmaking, how much I loved that process of cinematic filmmaking. And it kind of made me be like, all right, I can see where I do love games, but I think that my first kind of true love is like storytelling and visual storytelling.
Yeah, so for sure. You can see it in your games. I liked what you said earlier about kind of bringing film to games, and it's almost like more of an experience in a game.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And like, if you remember in Bucket Detective, I mean, there's so that, it's like there, no matter what any of the always drift towards this storytelling thing.
Yeah. Was it hard to make all the different endings for Bucket Detective, or?
It was hard to, there were parts about it that were hard, for sure. When you have branching storytelling, about when you branch the storyline, because you can really quickly end up with like, you branch a storyline 1, that's 4, that's 8. It like can very quickly get out of control.
Yeah.
So I think we had 5 endings for Bucket Detective and 9 sub endings. So it was like we had to do small tweaks to the art, and I was very detail oriented with that to make sure that like if in one ending you lost your finger, you would have in the picture, you would not have your finger. And if in the next ending you lost your hand, you would not have your hand. Even we'd alter to make sure that it actually fit all the choices the character made.
I believe I made it out with all my limbs except for maybe one arm. I seen the leg trap at the very end with the baby, and I just decided no, but
you avoided it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And when did you make Bowling is Fun? Is that for a game jam or anything, or is that just something out of your spare time?
That was for a school project when I was studying game design.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a class where it was like our game project class, and everyone in the class, there were probably like 20 people, and we all had to come up with an idea for a game and pitch it to the class, and then we voted on like 4 or 5. We picked the 4 or 5 favorite games, and then those would get made, and mine was selected as one of those to get made.
Maybe you could like port it to the Wii or something. That might be a good game.
Dude, that'd be so great. Yeah. I mean, there's it's like I love filmmaking also, but like there's so many great games that I have so many ideas for games too that I would want to make, but there's just limited time in the world, it's tragic.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that you can do both. I mean, it seems like you got visions for both aisles, so.
Yeah, what I'll probably do is like I want to incorporate. I have certain projects that I'm writing or have conceptualized that deal with video games, and so I think certain storytelling projects can be outlets for some of the weird ideas I have for games that I can write about them or do a film where that game is featured without having to make it. So maybe I can get the best of both worlds, because I feel like, I mean, I don't know if you disagree with this, but like, personally, as someone who's been playing games for like, I don't know, forever, basically, I feel like movies and books, but mostly movies, really don't. I feel like they haven't yet captured video games are actually like. Like Ready Player One was cool in some ways, but like no one who plays games like an MMO.
Yeah, nobody acts like that. I mean,
exactly.
I totally get what you're saying.
Exactly, and so like I'm more interested in like, I don't know, there's a whole, and I haven't figured out yet how you do it, but like, I would just like to see games represented in a more realistic way, and it's tough because like games, you're just chatting with your friends online. It's in Ready Player One, or you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, are you enjoying at least the game movies like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, Telltale, and all that? Because I know a lot of people give those games a lot of shit, but personally, I kind of like them for their cinematics and stuff like that. I mean, it's like just playing a TV show, a really good story or something.
Yeah, I've played the Walking Dead Telltale games. I haven't played Heavy Rain, but yeah, I mean, I've played other storytelling games, and I'm always interested. Like, I'll always give them a shot. Some are better than others, but I'm basically like, I think of art, which I consider games are art. It's like I think of art in 2 different ways. One, it's like, was it like kind of entertaining and enjoyable to me? And then 2, was it like experimental and at least going for something? And so sometimes like I maybe don't like a game, but it tried something, and so I like respect it. It's like there's certain games that at least they went for something, whether or not it worked. So something like Heavy Rain, I haven't played it, but the guys who make those games, I think it's Quantic Dream, right?
Yeah, David Cage and.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I'm glad that they exist.
Yeah, it's definitely cool that they're around.
Yeah.
Kind of inspiring a few people off them, so you get to see more and more and different variety of things, but.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm kind of out of questions, so I don't want to drag you out or anything, so thanks a ton for like actually messaging me back and stuff and talking to me and whatnot.
Dude, well, thank you for asking to interview me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I will. I'm not sure. I do this video series called Back of the Box, but we'll see how I do this. But I'll send it to you once it's out there.
I'll be curious to. So are you gonna like? It's a mix of like this interview with you playing my game some, or just an
Yeah, I
interview
was
unedited,
thinking
or
because how I do the Back of the Box is I kind of just tell a story about me playing the game and then mix it with a review or whatever. So I figured maybe I'd do that over
yeah,
your whole catalog of games, and then shove this interview in the back or something. Was just a new series that I was thinking of.
yeah.
Just because there's so many of you guys that make these really awesome smaller games, and I just figured why not? I mean, somebody's probably bound to say yeah, and thank God he did. Like I said, it's crazy, dude. I played Static back in high school and never thought I'd talk to the person that made it.
Yeah, well, yeah, thanks for reaching out. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like game developers are a lot of them are very shy.
Yeah.
So I think that you may run into issues there.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Me too. I mean, I was super nervous to give you a call when I wasn't sure I was going to start this, but it
Yeah.
went fairly well. So
Well, hey
that's
man,
good.
I was nervous too. So we did it together. I think it turned
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, let me know when and I'll I'll retweet it or whatever and tell people about it just to.
For sure. Do you want to shout out like your Bug TV links or anything like that?
Yeah, tell people to. I'll put the link in the channel, and
Okay.
I'll also if put your email in the Discord channel, and
Okay.
I'll send you because basically we have episodes 1 and 2 are free, and then episode 3 costs. You have to have a subscription, but I'll just give you. I'll
Okay.
send you a month subscription so you can just watch it for free.
Yeah, sweet. I've never heard of Quibi. Is that new or?
So Quibi a Yeah, so Quibi is this new streaming service that literally it launched maybe a week ago, and it's started by one of the guys who started DreamWorks, and
Oh, really?
it's the one where it's a streaming service you can only have on your phone.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know
It's yeah, it's not that great. At least
that. Yeah.
the content that I've seen is not that great, really.
I'm pretty
So.
sure I seen a Medea's "Every White People as Zombies" or something on there.
Oh yeah, that's Quibi Plus. That's
Yeah,
us.
dude.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I thought it was a crazy ass title to see.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude.
they've taken us in. I'm
Mhm.
thankful,
Yeah, no, that's sweet. Definitely send me links to more of your TV show and anything you want. I mean, even if you got a stack of links or something, I'll throw them in my description for the 30 people that'll see it. But there'll be
Yeah,
30
yeah,
people more for
definitely.
you.
Yeah, dude. So are you back on making YouTube videos? Or are you like is this your
Yeah, I'm here and there. I do construction, so honestly, I get pretty burnt out. But I've been kind of finding a format with this back of the box thing and really getting into it. So it's something I
Yeah.
really like to do in my spare time, and I try to get like at least one out a month. But with the whole quarantine, I pumped out like maybe 4 in the last 2 weeks. So it's been nice.
Yeah, you got to do that to keep sane.
Yeah, it's a good way
What
to utilize my time.
what kind of construction do you do?
Masonry. So like right now, I started as a laborer, just carrying blocks, bringing mud to boards, and building schools. Now I drive a big old tractor and boom stuff up 50 feet in the air and all
Nice.
sorts of crazy
Nice.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All right, dude. Well, yeah, thanks for reaching out and good talking to you, man. I
Yeah.
look forward to checking out the video.
yeah, you too. All
Have
right,
a good
dude.
one, man.
Thanks
Bye.
for talking to you. See ya.